mean, I just love this dialogue. If it doesn't feel cutesy, it doesn't feel. I don't know. If for some reason, when I watch Lady Killers, their remake of Lady Killers, the Coen brothers, I remember enjoying it. I liked the oddball cast that they had. I thought it was very interestingly cast. But for some reasons, yeah, when the dialogue came out of Hanks, I think so in Captain Phillips, I think Hanks has turned in some of the best performance. Like there's moments in Captain Phillips where it blows my mind. I watch News of the World; he's really good in that. But watching him say that dialogue felt kind of cute to me. Come at me for that. He's a 2-time Oscar winner who's like in a national treasure.
No. I know what you mean. The vibe at the time when the Lady Killers came out was, yeah, this movie's funny, but it feels like they're trying really hard.
Yeah.
A movie like Raising Arizona. Not that people were saying it was trying to be like Raising Arizona, but that's the vibe they were going for. They were going for farce.
Yeah.
They were going for Marx Brothers. And the laugh, it was a lot. Yeah. It was a lot coming out of Hanks. I agree.
When something becomes like, it just felt precious. And then that makes it feel inorganic. And then that takes you out of the movie and you just don't like the characters. So it's, at the time it was a big deal, but I just think their two sensibilities maybe don't meet. That's where a Steve Buscemi, that's where John Turturro, Tim Blake Nelson, George Clooney, Josh Brolin, I think those types of people really gel with their stuff because they seem to have do you kind of have to come across as dumb, but you're smart? Like, remember Marge Gunderson in Fargo? She's very, very smart, but just her, don't you know, you sleep on her.
It's the folksy Americana that this movie gets, These people are not murderers for the most part, except for Leonard Smalls, you figure. They're not evil. They're just trying to live in the best way that they can without hurting people, unless they absolutely have to. Edwina only breaks bad when she sees that she's been doing everything right. She's trying to have this baby, and, her insides are a barren place where high seed can find no purchase. And then she turns on the TV, and this rich dude has 5 kids. What the hell's going on, man?
Yeah.
You know what? I want my piece of the American pie. I've worked hard.
And that's organic.
That's it. And that's why this movie comes off as so natural. And honestly, that's probably why at the time when the movie came out during the Reagan era, it's like, well, what are you complaining about? This movie's not funny. Why is the camera doing all this weird stuff? Because 87 is around the time when comedies like Caddyshack, it came out 7 years prior. And so it was all of those rich people versus poor people type movies coming out.
Trading Places. Actually, that was good, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Rich versus not.
Right. So, slobs versus snobs. That was the genre.
Revenge of the Nerds and Meatballs and that
slobs
kind of stuff.
Versus snobs. Right. So these people, they're not rich, but they're not. I mean, they're barely not poor, but they should be okay. What are you complaining about? Get your bootstraps and pull on them. And so people just were not about this movie in 87. But thank God, times change, opinions change, and this is one of the greatest comedies of all time, easily.
So here are the 87 comedies. Oh, no, you know what? Before we get into 87 comedies, kind of tell me about your history with it, man, because I let you recommend this. You turned in an excellent list of films, but this was number one. So I don't think you did it in any order, but maybe subconsciously you just Raising Arizona came first off the top of your head. So what's your history with it? Like, what led you to it? What did you think the first time you saw it?
Well, once again, this movie comes out in 1987. I'm a child in New York City, and I did not see this in the theater. Where did I see it? It's something I've mentioned many times in all of these WPIX Channel 11, Saturday afternoon. This is one of those movies that used to just always come on a loop, and it was always hilarious. And because it's not really vulgar, they didn't have to edit too much out for it to play on commercials.
Yeah.
The scenes in this movie, they just grab you. You were talking about character moments, right? So one of the funniest part in this movie, the reason why I will always watch this when it came on, I would always watch this when it came on TV, is because when Glenn comes in, he's decent. Glenn's supposed to be decent.
Yeah.
And Glenn brings over his wife and these just 5 demonic children. And he just lets them run roughshod over the house. Buford's a sly one, right? Buford. So Buford knows his ABCs, right? And he writes fart on the wall, and the look on his face is just, duh. And he's 30. and he's dirty and his mouth is hanging open. And they said Buford's a sly one because he knows the ABCs, Sam McMurray. And he goes, think fast, and just throws like rocks at him or something. And H.I. is just, what the hell is going on? That movie, I rewind that part every time I watch it. Because is Buford a sly one because he knows his ABCs or because he has feline quickness? Like, what is going on?
They're those feral children. The quick feral children.
Exactly. And so, The Simpsons doesn't come out for another 2 years because this is 87. And this is a type of comedy that was not being done. You know, no laugh track. The funny stuff was, did you get it? Because we're not going to explain it to you. It's just, did you get it? And what a lot of people don't understand is that 87, we are just deep into half-hour situation comedy where everything turns out great in the end. Yay! And it's just bland. And you don't know any better. And then this movie comes along, and this is a smart movie that still holds up. And every single one of the actors in this movie has gone on to do brilliant stuff. Even Nicolas Cage, who's insane.
Man, Mandy recently in Color Out of Space. Oh, I crushed those. But that fart moment, Norbert, I've been tagging fart on things for years now. Everywhere I go. I do. I really do. And it's just, okay, Mike Judge was saying, the guy who created, Mike Judge, Beavis and Butthead. And, so he said, he was with all of his really intellectual friends one night. And they were just being people that you and I would hate to be around because they're just being super sarcastic and smart. But they're watching the Sir Mix-a-Lot video. And
ironically.
Then, yeah, exactly. But then Mike Judge goes, that's a huge inflatable butt. And everyone just started laughing. Like, the butt joke got the biggest laugh of the night. Yeah. So then that led him to think about, like, Beavis and Butthead and then King of the Hill. Like, it like, this one moment informed him. So in this really smart movie with really eloquent, not flowery, what's the word?
I would say descriptive.
I
would say poetic even.
Yeah, poetic, Flannery O'Connery. There's a bit of South in there, even though it's Phoenix. It's the scene, he wrote fart on a wall. And then later on, when Leonard Smalls
he just stares up.
He comes in the trailer and he just stares at fart. It's beautiful. And I'm telling you, man, I write fart everywhere on stuff. And also I call people Mad Dog a lot as a joke. In this movie, she's like, "You Mad Dog," like, just saying that. I wonder if that's where that came from. Because for me, so this is one of my favorite films because this sounds weird, but when I was younger, there weren't many characters like H.I. There weren't many characters. And so I never got, like, the slobs versus jocks. Like, I wasn't either one of those guys. And so when I watch Say Anything, like when you learn that Lloyd Dobler is a nice dude, but he can kick you in the face, or H.I., he's this super nice dude, but he's kind of troubled. But he's nice, but he's troubled. Yes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he is.
So I kind of connected with H.I. as a kid because I just was like, well, I'm not Biff, and then I'm not Meatball Kids.
Right.
I'm not like the super preppy kids from Hughes's movies. Like,
right.
Like Breakfast Club, I was none of those kids.
I definitely was not.
Yeah.
I guess I was Anthony Michael Hall because I was nerdy.
Yeah, but it's like I was none of. Maybe I was all of them combined, like all of them. But it's just. But while watching, like, I don't know, I like this character because it was just something different for me. It wasn't sarcastic. It wasn't super actiony. I don't know. I didn't watch this when I was 5. I watched this probably when I was like 11, 12. And at that time, I was like, man, I like this guy. Who is this guy? I couldn't put words to it yet, but I was drawn towards that character. Just because it was something different. Like, his entire chase scenes to get his kids Huggies. And he loses.
Brilliant.
Yeah. He loses his Huggies and he goes into a grocery store to get more Huggies. And it's just, I don't know. I like the character a lot. And I think this movie's bench is strong. You have the scene where John Goodman and Gail and Evel, they go rob a bank, stay still, or get down. Well, we don't know what to do, son. Or you have the...
Which one is it? Yeah. You want us to stay still or you want us to get down? We're going to have to move.
Where are the tellers at? Well, we're laying down. And then the one guy's like, oh, bullshit. And then they come back.
One Mississippi, two Mississippi. That's the old man who explains how to put a diaper on. Well, it's pretty self-explanatory.
And then Glenn, right? When, boy, you got panties on your head. But then Glenn too, when he has that neck brace on, when he rings the doorbell and he scurries downstairs, that there's the bench in this movie isn't there a guy talking about crawdads in the beginning? What was he talking about on the thing?
Dude, I wanted to bring that up because thank you so much. When you keep talking about the dialogue, this man is in prison. He's H.I.'s cellmate. And H.I., because the reason why you identify with H.I. is because you can tell, right? Sam McMurray, not a good person. Not just because he's the boss, not just because he's a swinger who thinks it's appropriate to just ask a dude you just met to have sex with his wife, okay? But because he does all of these awful little things. Why does he keep telling the quote-unquote Polak jokes, which unfortunately was a big deal in the 80s?
Yep.
Like, how many does it take to screw in a light bulb? Why is there a submarine on a Polish? Why is there a screen door on a Polish submarine? Like, why are we telling these jokes?
Mm-hmm.
H.I. is not a racist. H.I. is not a murderer. H.I. is not homicidal. He's not a sociopath. He does what he has to do. And so this old man in his cell and when there was no meat, we ate fowl. And when there was no fowl, we ate crawdad. And when there was no crawdad to be found, we ate sand. And H.I.'s like, sand? Like, really? Sand? Because he was really paying attention.
He's listening.
Yeah. Like, yes, sand. And then he just keeps going. Mama would throw the live crawdad in a pan of boiling water. The one day, I decided to make my own crawdad. And I threw it in a pot without the water, you see? And it was just like making popcorn, you see? And I was like, oh my God. Yes.
And so H.I.'s listening.
H.I.'s just with it. He's just, I understand and I feel you. And I have genuine empathy and love for humanity. And I want you to be okay because there's what's right and there's what's right and never the twain shall meet. And I'm okay and you're okay. And that there's what it is. These are his axioms. These are his mantras.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. And I always feel bad for him when he's around. Well, I think Gale is bad news, but Evel, William Forsythe is also slept on a lot. No one ever talks about him in this movie. And he's brilliant. Is that the diptych? And he's drunk. Like, so while Goodman's watching opera, Goodman does a big look. You see it. But Forsythe is playing it as really drunk, but still really watching. He underplays it. It's kind of like a Holly Hunter, Nick Cage type vibe, where it's interesting the dynamics with both them. But then he's in the bathroom holding the little baby's ears while the fight scene happens, and he's generally worried about the little tyke on the car. He's not.
No one wants that baby to be harmed, let alone die.
Mm-hmm.
No one. When they think that they left the baby on the roof, they pull the Mitt Romney, and they just scream for 60 seconds and punch the car. We ain't never gonna leave you behind. We ain't never gonna give you up. They just realize, oh, we actually love this kid. We're not gonna ransom him. We're gonna keep him. Everybody
forever and ever.
Forever and ever. We ain't never gonna let him go.
Hey, before we go on break, what's the better fake birthing scene? The Ace Ventura out of the rhino's butt in Ace Ventura 2, or John Goodman pulling his brother out, or the John Goodman and his brother coming out of the mud just screaming?
It's got to be John Goodman, because not only is he giving the birth cry to the incredible thunder and rain downpour, he pulls his brother out by his feet, and his brother doesn't even breathe until he gets his head completely out of the ground. Oh my God, it's iconic, man. It's a great scene.
Oh, I love that movie. So much yelling, and it's beautiful. All right, so how about this? Go for it.
Real quick, I was just gonna say, is that pomade? The pomade. They break out. They come out through the sewer pipe, and then there's just pomade in the bathroom. They don't have any money. Was that just there? Is that just a thing?
Yeah. What did their hair look like in prison?
Well, they were pretty well kept in prison. It's just, they broke out because they felt that the institution had nothing further to offer them. You see?
Do you think they went back because it's just a dream sequence?
No, I'm pretty sure that they just went back because they were going to get caught.
Yeah. I guess that's less of a sentence, right? If you actually go, all right, you got me.
End of the day, you get 3 hots and a cot in jail.
Yep. And Goodman, and it seems like a pretty chill jail from what we've seen.
Dude.
And you don't want to mess with Goodman. I mean, that guy, he can lift a 200-pound man by his foot out of the ground with one arm.
Dude,
so
easily. And in prison, a spirited camaraderie exists amongst the men, like in combat or on a pro sports team. So yeah,